We met Dr. Mike at the Emmys, and we all started Mike.
I did not. I missed him.
He walked past, when we were walking in, he walked past and he was like, hey, and we all were like, oh my God.
You were studying for your MCATs and also being a tutor.
She took the MCATs.
You took the MCATs and then you were a tutor. Tell
During
me
season 1. Yeah, well, I just was worried about, I don't know, I felt like the show was going to be a success, but I'm wrong a lot. So I was like, okay, just in case I'm wrong, I'm going to keep my day job and I'm going to tutor. And I was tutoring through season 1. And even after the show started airing, I was still tutoring. And I kind of realized it was maybe a success when people started signing up for my class just to see me. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can't do this anymore.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it was a path that I thought I was going to go down. And it's been a lot of back and forth about what I wanted to do, not wanted to do. And yeah, it's just been so great to be able to meld both of my interests on a show that's so medically accurate.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just really great.
I remember season 1, she'd have like a day off and be like, oh, good, you have a day off. We've been working really hard. She's like, yeah, I've got 3 students I have to teach those. And it's like, what are you doing? Breathe, take a break.
You're like living the real life, like medical drama. So are you still deferring med school? Like, are you going to finish? What's going on there?
I mean,
or are you going to, you're like, the acting is, okay, we're good.
You know, I think I only really wanted to be a doctor because I saw Christina Yang on Grey's Anatomy and I was like, I want to be that. And I'm realizing now it was probably more for the acting.
Congratulations.
Thank
and welcome
you.
to the cast.
Thank you.
What was your connection to the show before?
I was a fan before I was cast on the show. I was on the top of my watch list, and everybody was talking about it. Everybody, the people who don't even like television, were telling me to watch this show. So, and a lot of my friends, like colleagues from across the planet, across the globe, who I work with, through this organization that I'm an ambassador with, the IRC, people who are working in the field in crisis zones were talking about the Pitt to me. So this was a great opportunity. I mean, I only planned to watch a couple episodes, but I binged the entire series in a day and a half, and then getting cast was, it was just a dream.
I want to talk about Javadi because she's turning 21. She's also got this influencer side hustle that we learn about.
Side hustle.
How fun is it to explore and watch her evolution?
I'm so excited by it because it does feel like it's such a big ensemble, and I think that's really important. We're all in this world together. But I think for Javadi, the Pitt is really a coming of age story. And I think that we're seeing chapter 2 of that. And I think that that's really exciting, especially because she's one of probably the only kids who was schooled, did med school during COVID in that way, and Whitaker too. But it's an interesting thing, the COVID. I was a standardized patient for med schools in between gigs when I was back in Australia. And so I've met hundreds of med students. And the COVID cohorts were different to the previous cohorts. It's you're being socialized in a really different way. You're experiencing isolation on a mass scale in your formative years. And so I'm really excited to tell this story of this girl who's sort of socially inept and figuring that out in this really social environment, in this environment where the social stakes are really high. If you have maybe developing social skills as a doctor and you can't get an accurate history from a patient or a robust history from a patient because they're not comfortable with you yet, you're going to miss differentials. And so I think I'm really excited for her to be finding her community online maybe while she builds it in person, for her to be making mistakes and learning from McKay and learning from Al Hashimi this season and finding new mother figures and stuff.
Taylor, this season we get to find out that Dr. Mel King is a K-pop fan. She likes K-pop, and she flirts with a patient. Last season,
we'll call it flirting, sure. I think that's the closest Mel can get to that.
It's cute.
That's
it's so sweet, though. There's been so many fun parts about her personality that we've gotten to learn as the audience. What was one of the best parts for you to explore about her character?
The different stemming is, it makes sense to me, too. We all, neurodivergent people, we all have whatever it is that makes us calmer and kind of puts us back into the right mindset or whatever that may be. And so it just was nice to show it, as opposed to, I feel like so often they're just frustrated on camera and they're not very realistic and just it's that's not it. We always have something we do. So it was nice to to show that.
I do want to ask about your character. So I've seen the first 6 episodes of season 2. We haven't seen them yet. So what can you tease?
I was in that first scene, and so I didn't have any. If you had told me that this would have been my year, I would have laughed in your face. So Abbott season 2, he had his connection with Robbie at the end of season 1, where he's understands his purpose, which he'd been searching for, and he kind of imparts the wisdom to Robbie that maybe you should talk to somebody about the emotional toll this kind of work does to us. And so I think very much coming into season 2, that's Abbott's focus. He's checking in on Robbie. We meet him in an unexpected way. He's actually works SWAT during the day.
SWAT by day,
he's the moonlighter.
What a superhero.
Yeah, he's
with all that extra time.
Because they take doctors sometimes who are also qualified to carry a gun and know that world in case something goes wrong, and something does. So that's what brings him back in, and that's where
we meet.
That's where we meet in Trauma 1, and wearing fatigues.
Yes.
And so it's
that's a great tease. I'm looking forward to that. You go on TikTok, and there are like these influencers who are real life ER doctors. Don't ever do this. Here's one thing you should do when you have a burn. All those things, tips and tricks.
Yeah.
So it's so fun that the writers and creators are exploring that with you.
Yeah, and we met Dr. Mike at the Emmys, and we lost our mind.
I did not. I missed him.
He walked past, when we were walking in, he walked past and he was like, hey, and we all were like, oh my God. We like lost our, it was so cool. He's like huge.
And so handsome.
And I was like studying him. I was like, what is different about him?
What is
like,
this?
And I desperately wanted to be like, hey, can I ask you about what it's like? But it was all confidential, and I didn't get to. I'm going to text him now.
Now you should, absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of Emmys, your reaction, your face, the like, went viral and in all the best ways. Listen, again, joyful person, and I think, and you're one of my favorite characters on the show because I feel there's such a real authenticity about your character.
Yeah.
She really has a soft spot for her patients, and she really takes the care to the next level. So what was it like to channel that energy and dive back into this story arc, and what are we learning about her, McKay, this season?
Yeah, I think for me, this is really just like a testament to casting, because when I came in for season 1, I remember like reading the character breakdown, and it was so close to my actual life and kind of what I feel like that I read it and was like, okay, well, if they're going for somebody who looks like me, I'm an absolute version of this. And then I was cast, 7 weeks later, and I just thought to myself, if I play this just like me, as if I had gone to become a doctor, that is all that's needed, and that's all I'm basically trying to do, which is actually quite vulnerable. I've never done it before, so it feels like, like her or you hate her, it's really just me, and it makes it hard for me to follow online content around Dr. McKay, because it feels so personal. And also it just always kind of feels like art imitating life. Like, season 1, I was dealing with like an ex-boyfriend who was like renting my place, and I was getting into these fights where I just wanted to like throw something against a wall, and then I was like acting it out on season 1. I was just like, this whole thing feels so eerie. And then I think what McKay's role sort of is, it's different from the other doctors, is it took her a long time to get where she is. So oftentimes people go from high school to college to medical school to residency to doctor, and McKay just struggled a lot, which was also true of me, and has like hit real lows, and so she brings this sort of street understanding to her patients and is able to relate in a way to people who have hit rock bottom like she has.
Right.
And that's something, this is like giving me chills and kind of embarrassing to say, but something that I feel like I have in my real life.